Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Farm Life here, and as per viewer request, I am going to do a video on how the alley scrapers actually work. So to start out, it's a big stainless, well, it's a steel drum and then wrapped in stainless to keep it from rusting. And this cable is wrapped on here. It is stainless steel 3/8 cable, and up here we've got the motor, which goes to the gearbox, and then that runs the drum, so it spins it one way, and then once it reaches the end of a cycle it goes the other way. So the way it knows is this threaded rod down here, and this carriage runs on the rod, and then these two markers here are the length of the barn, and then this green post, once it's come all the way to the end, it'll nudge this rod over just enough that it trips this sensor right here, which if you watch on the back side, there'll be a little light that comes on when it senses it, or doesn't. And it's not right now because I've actually got the scraper shut off. So turn this switch on, which is main power. This will light up when it senses metal, like that. So the threaded rod is run off of this sprocket here, which runs a gear over there to the other side with threaded rod. Tensioner, another gear to that threaded rod there. And then other function of this carriage is to guide the cable left and right so it wraps it nice and tight on the drum. And then here we've got the control panel, emergency stop, a trip light, manual, auto, forward, reverse for when it's in manual mode. This side, same deal, except there's no trip rod. It only runs off the one side. This one here is just to guide it back and forth. And then to show you, we had to tear apart this side because we're checking on it. We already did the far end, and luckily on this side all the bases are all right. Minimal wear on them. So the corner wheels for the front here are getting bushings in them right now, and they'll be up in a few. So this is the side we worked on about a week ago, and as you can see, manure piles up in there quite fast. So that's going right now, and the reason those pins only wear on the one face is because, as you can see, the pin doesn't rotate, and this cable has got a lot of force on it and is pushing the wheel this way, so it's only going to wear on this face. So that's, we flip the pins and then we get another life out of them. So as you can see, this one's about to come to the end of the cycle. It's probably another 5 minutes out yet. And another feature on it to keep stuff from breaking is this little sensor up top here. And this one, see, this bar rides right close to the top of the cable, so if one of them overlaps, it raises this bar up and trips this sensor here in case the cable overlaps itself, which isn't good. So we're going to shut this back off just so nobody runs it, even though it's quite obvious it's not in running condition. And these big yellow pipes here are for tightening and loosening the cable off of the sleds that push the manure. So right in the pen here, we've got one of the sleds. This guy here. So those yellow wrenches fit over these squares, and then there's a pin right here that we pull out, and then you can tighten it or loosen it, drop the pin in, and that holds the tension on it. So, and then there's one for the front of the sled as well. Now on its way back, this scraper, these wings here actually fold up, and then these wings, as they are, they slide in order not to drag any manure back with it. Now when it changes direction, these little doors here sit down like they are, and then as it goes ahead, it pushes those wings out. It cleans the whole alleyway. And it takes about 20 minutes for a cycle to happen, for it to get from one end of the barn to the other, and then it's another 20 minutes back. And these scrapers run non-stop, so the only reason that there's this much manure right now is because we've had them shut off and we're working on them. This is what the floor always looks like, unless something's gone wrong. So once it makes its way down here, it dumps it into this slot in the floor, which runs across the whole width of the barn. These bell gates here to keep anybody, for that matter, and any cow from getting caught in there in the drop slot, as we call them. And then it runs, it's gravity fed out to a drop box just outside the barn there, and then it goes across the driveway, drops down to the bottom of the lagoon and out. So this sled here, you can see, is pushing a full load, and again, that's just because they've been off for a while now. I'll walk down to into the other pen and show you one of the sleds that is in the reverse position, so you can see what that looks like. So again, this is what the floor usually looks like. So here we've got one that's going in reverse. Again, two wraps or rollers here for the cable, the same on all the sleds. And these arms, or these flappers, I guess you could call them, are in the up position right now. Because it's moving backwards, it pulls them up. And then when it goes ahead, it pushes those down, shuts them, as you saw on the other one, like that. And then it scrapes all the manure. So, and like I said, and this, it runs in a great big rectangle. So here we are at the far end of the barn, and we just got done fixing these wheels up. They only needed bushings, so they're all cleaned out in there. And then the cable runs underneath the concrete walkway over to the other wheel, and then it heads back down the barn. So the way it works is, as one side's cleaning, the other side's going back to start over again. And like I said, this system runs 24/7, so the floors are always clean in the barn. We've got two of these scraper systems, one for each side. And these, the base units themselves out front, they're 16 years old this year. This barn was built in '05. And again, as one side comes in and dumps, the other one's already way back at the start, and the cycle starts over again. That's about a 6-foot drop slot, and as it goes to the up that way to the other end of the barn, it gets shallower and it gets deeper down here, and it flows out to the lagoon. Okay. So that's probably going to do it for this video, folks. I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, and we'll catch you next time.